To understand, there is some breaking news coming to us out of Moscow at this moment. You're looking at CBS News senior foreign correspondent Holly Williams with that and more. Holly, good morning to you. What is the breaking development you can share with us?
Good morning, Errol. Well, Russian officials are saying that Lieutenant General Yaroslav Moskalyk, he is a senior figure, or was a senior figure in the general staff of the Russian military, was killed by an explosive device placed inside a car just outside of Moscow today. Russian officials say that the device was rigged with shrapnel, and Russian media is running video that appears to show a burning vehicle outside of an apartment building. Now, this comes as President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, is in Moscow for talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin aimed at securing a ceasefire in Ukraine. That is Witkoff's fourth visit to Russia this year. Now, another Russian general, Igor Kirillov, was killed by a bomb placed inside a scooter back in December. A Ukrainian security source later said that Ukraine was responsible for that assassination.
And Holly, this senior Russian official killed comes after what have been days of Russian bombardments of Kyiv. What impact might all of this have on the ongoing efforts to secure a ceasefire deal?
Well, we don't know who killed the general today, who was responsible, if indeed it was a murder. So it's difficult to say whether there would be any direct impact. But this comes as a potential ceasefire deal is being discussed. Now, the terms of the ceasefire deal being proposed by the US reportedly include excluding Ukraine from NATO membership and all the protection that would bring, lifting some economic sanctions imposed on Russia because of the war, freezing the fighting close to the current front line. Remember that Russia currently occupies around 20% of Ukrainian territory, and recognizing Crimea as part of Russia. Now, as you know, Russia seized Crimea by force back in 2014, the first time that Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine. Now, critics of that proposed ceasefire say that it is highly favorable to Russia, and Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky said earlier this week that formally recognizing Crimea as part of Russia would be against Ukraine's constitution. So that in particular seems to be a red line for the Ukrainians. Russia, perhaps unsurprisingly, is sounding much more positive. We have Steve Witkoff in Moscow today, and in that interview with Margaret Brennan, the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said that Russia is, quote, ready to reach a deal, though the terms, according to Lavrov, still need to be fine-tuned.
All right, Holly Williams with all of the latest for us out of our London bureau. Holly, thank you. CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe joins us now from the White House with more. Ed, as mentioned there with Holly, the U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff is in Russia today for negotiations, and now we have the news of a senior military official in Russia being killed in an apparent car bomb. It's just happened. This is a breaking development. What impact might this have on any hopes for progress?
Well, we also just saw a few moments ago on the Russian news wires, at least, word that Witkoff has met with Vladimir Putin. So that meeting appears to have, at least according to the Russians, gone forward as hoped for by the White House. What they discussed, how long they were together, all that yet to be seen and yet to be determined. But the Russians, at least, reporting that Putin has held that meeting with Witkoff. And he's got a busy weekend, because now he's got to go to Oman and talk to the Iranians about the deal the president wants there, too. Just an incredible amount of influence and intrigue around Witkoff as he continues to travel the world trying to cut these deals on behalf of the president. So far, no progress. But yes, this latest attack on a Russian military officer not going to help, but also comes, of course, after another night of bombing in and around Kyiv and other parts of Ukraine, as the president yesterday lashed out at Putin, saying it's time to stop this and get a peace deal.
Yeah, Witkoff really has his work cut out for him. I want to ask you about more of a domestic topic now, Ed, because President Trump's going after Act Blue. This is the leading Democratic fundraising platform. What exactly is he accusing it of doing, and how might it impact the Democratic Party?
So for years, this service has been sort of the secret weapon of the Democratic Party or the political left, because it's that website that candidates and causes use that essentially allows people to donate, and then the money gets funneled out to the campaigns. And it's been so effective in getting especially small dollar donations for Democrats. Republicans have tried replicating it for years with dissimilar success, let's put it that way. So what the president is now accusing them of, with no proof, completely unsubstantiated, is the idea that they have allowed for what are called straw donors, where someone makes a donation in someone else's name and you can't prove it through the system. And then accusations of foreign donors using the site to somehow get money to congressional or presidential candidates or other parts of the Democratic Party. ACLU has strongly disputed this. The Democratic Party and its allies have been warning that this might be coming for several days. The White House had denied it would. Now the president ordering the Attorney General within the next 3 months to come back with a report on what she has found so far. This is the latest example, however, of him using presidential and federal powers, or trying to go after his perceived political opponents. 2 weeks ago, it was 2 former Trump administration officials who had criticized him during and after their service during his first term. Even though he and the Attorney General had said the Justice Department wouldn't be used for those purposes, it's being used for those purposes. Errol.
All right, Ed O'Keefe with all the latest for us at the White House. Ed, thanks.